Well, Peter Gray has been with Dimension Data for nearly a decade, and it's a very, very exciting time at the moment, Peter. A name change, contract extensions, a really good time for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting. Dimension Data is becoming NTT. We're bringing together 28 companies from around the world, 40,000 people, across 57 countries, and extending our relationship with ASO and the Tour de France as the technology partner of the Tour de France for the next 5 years to 2024, which, I think is going to be fantastic for the race, fantastic for us.
That's very exciting. And for those that love the Tour de France, like you and I, then when they see the NTT, they'll know that, OK, that is Dimension Data from years ago, but bigger and better.
Yeah, bigger and better, and being able to bring the capabilities of that large organisation, and particularly some of the R&D and new innovation that's coming out of Japan.
Sometimes when we start talking about data, people go, oh, it's so dry. But look, if you scratch the surface, particularly in a sport like cycling, it's a great story, isn't it? Why is data so important?
Well, one of the challenges for road cycling in an event like the Tour de France is that, it's spread over such a huge distance. It moves every single day. You've got, in the mountains, you have riders. We've seen riders spread from, 30 kilometres from the first rider to the last rider. You can't see all of that on television. And so the data actually, allows us to see into the race, and it gives the commentators the information they need to help viewers explore, what's going on. It gives you the ability to create new digital products that allow people that second screen opportunity at home, and has allowed us to create new social media products. And so it really actually helps bring the race to life in a lot of ways.
And you guys have got some really creative ways of collecting the data. Tell us how that's done.
Yeah, so we actually put little GPS devices on every single bike in the Tour de France. And so every second we're able to see exactly where every rider is. We're able to, figure out which groups and they're in, their current speed, their current location, all the time gaps between every rider. So it creates this this ability to actually have a very holistic view of the race, rather than just seeing what a television camera motorbike can see. That allows us to do things like create 3D visualizations of the peloton riding through the mountains, and to see exactly where they're located on the course. It allows us to create things like artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms that predict what might happen in the race, based on what we're seeing through that live data.
It was a real education for me. I hosted the Tour Down Under for 7 years, and through that time started to work out the different nuances in this amazing sport, like who may win this stage, who may win that stage, why this guy's no chance at winning this point. But with some of the data that you guys collect and look at, you can predict winners of, say, a hill stage or a sprint. How accurate is it?
Yeah, well, we've shown that actually our machine learning algorithms are as accurate as some of the best informed commentators in the world. In fact, we just ran some testing a couple of weeks ago at the Criterium de Dauphiné, and I have to say our machine was one of the only people to predict that Wout van Aert would win the time trial at that race. He's a cyclocross rider. He doesn't have a great history necessarily in time trialling, but the machine predicted he would win, and he went and did. And I actually told our guys that I thought they were wrong. But
they would have liked that.
The machine proved me wrong.
Always. Look, and it's quite frenetic during these races sometimes, when you got the team cars behind and you got guys on walkie-talkies. They're all using this as well, aren't they? They're strapped to the data of what's going on with their team.
Exactly. So the teams, for them, understanding exactly where all their riders are, as you say, the race is chaos, and there's movement happening, there's noise happening, there are crashes happening, mechanicals, people needing bottles and food, etc. And so this information really gives the teams the ability to see exactly where their guys are, understand which groups and where the competition are as well. And so, the teams are using this information to, help them with their race strategies.
What about for fans? Because fans of road cycling are unlike any other, because they actually get involved and they get the opportunity to actually ride some of the stages of, say, the Tour Down Under, and those that are very fortunate, the Tour de France. So for the fan experience and even the couch peloton, this kind of data is wonderful for them.
Yeah, well, this is all about the fans, and it's really about giving them more information about the race. And as patriotic Australians, this year we'll be following Richie Port or Michael Matthews. We can use the live tracking website race centre that we've developed to follow those guys. And even though if they're not on the television, we maybe can't see on the broadcast exactly where they are, we can look at it through the live tracking and see how they're going, whether they've been dropped on that climb or whether hopefully they're powering away in a breakaway.